My name's Todd Owen. I am an entrepreneur. I own a company called Modern Roof Systems. We're an exterior construction company out of Naperville. Um, the so the three. So say that again. The
So, for
three.
my first question, I would ask you, what were the pain points that brought you to me to work through in your own health and life?
Yeah, sure. I think the biggest thing is that I've historically always been very fit and an athlete and life, work, three teenage kids, um, kind of change priorities and focus and things like that. And for the last few years, I was able to maintain that for many years, even post I don't know, being young, I guess. But for the last few years, I just got extremely busy with a new business, and I rehabbed a property that took a lot of extra time and things like that. Um, so I started gaining weight and not feeling great and not sleeping well, and just hearing a lot of uh, some of the things that you preach in the networking meetings that we've been in were really important, and some of the focus that you have in your programs were really interesting to me. And I do try to keep myself very active, but I just didn't have any kind of organization around that. So no accountability and organization. Um, I'm so busy that other things were taking priority. So the that was extremely interesting to me, is harnessing your expertise and having that set schedule and accountability that would essentially make it more of a priority. It's been definitely been a challenge, but that's what I needed, and I think it really went well.
I agree. It went very well. Across the board, you worked on a lot of what you just mentioned, and then you learned some things too. I mean, let's be honest, we learned a little bit more about the stress and that involving component in how your weight loss would occur when you had higher stress levels, and especially how it affected your sleep. And that kind of ties into that sauna as well that we were able to finally implement and helping bring down some of that stress. So I really love just seeing you learning along the way, how important sleep was, because that was I think the biggest component for us was sleep,
Yeah.
just getting you to prioritize. Now, as we went through the program, I guess you kind of covered some of this, but what is your biggest adaptations to your life that you took from this program and that you saw the most change in?
Yeah, I mean, definitely sleep. um, I'm the first one to sleep into bed in the household, so that's always that's always been a challenge. And it still is, and it will be, just because I don't want to miss out on what the kids are up to, because they're one of them's going off to college, and the others will be soon. So it's they're up doing things like homework, but messing around. But that's the hardest thing. But I'm forcing myself to get to bed earlier because I typically have to get up early. So and that really can't change, because that's set schedule, meetings, if I take the kids to school, whatever it may be. So it has to be addressed on the front end. So yeah, that's the biggest thing, is being disciplined when it comes to sleep, because it's very easy, and I told my wife the same thing too. It's very easy to tell um, when you get the proper sleep. Like and you can tell with on the scale. It's like an immediate correlation on the scale, for one, but you can just tell in the way that you feel and you go about your day, things like that. So it's no secret. I mean, it makes sense, and I know that's a huge thing that you preach, but until you actually commit to that and do it, you don't really know how much it does affect on, even on like a daily basis. Like if you have one good night of sleep, it can make a huge difference. But if you can string some together, that you can really start, you know, getting results and things like that. So I think that's one of the biggest things. And back to the learning component too. So I think one of the big takeaways that I had was now that now I have a lot of things that I kind of thought I knew or knew parts of that I can just kind of take forever and implement proper eating habits and timing and supplements and couple that with the exercises. So there's a lot of learning that went along that, and again, for someone that has been kind of a lifetime, um, I guess, athlete or been active for the majority of my life and been through a lot of teams and other people and coaches and things that teach things, I still learn all, things that I've never really come across. So I appreciate that. That's
Wow,
really cool.
that's a huge thing. I appreciate that. And then so obviously you're taking from this experience all the new knowledge and moving forward with it. Anything I guess I would ask, I mean, you kind of answered that last question about what you're taking forward, moving forward is probably everything that you've learned from here. Just from what I've seen, sleep, the structure is huge. And then the movement component, just getting you to move more, even though you thought you were active, getting you to walk was a big one, I thought as well. And then
Yeah.
obviously moved into transitioning into cardio, but that was a big one as well, I thought, from my
Yep. Yep. A couple others too that I've thought through a little bit is that I've really been able to prove to myself that it works. Um, and it's not, I mean, it's none of it's been easy. And it's been a long time since I've committed 12 weeks to something that strictly. I've never had a diet like I've had in any of my years. Um, but I have proven that it does work. Like, I got the weight off that I wanted to get off. Um, and, but was able to get through something that was very difficult that um, I basically proved to myself that, I could actually do it.
Yeah, and accountability as an adult is a tough challenge to have somebody standing over you, just kind of holding you accountable to things that you're not used to being accountable for. So that was tough, but you handled it like a champ, and I appreciate that. Um,
Well,
and
I was a pretty good client
yeah, I agree.
most some of the time or most of the time, but
Most of the time,
not
for
not
sure.
perfect. I definitely know that.
Well, none of us are. So, that's a huge learning point. Is every mistake you made, you learn from it and to help build more discipline. And that was really the focus of accountability, is to build the discipline you were missing prior to starting with me.